before we get into any other questions of how you got your start within the racing business, because I know when I was starting to look at racing, like back in the day, I know I could see you running in Florida. Can you tell us a little bit? I know you did some racing at Gulfstream and Calder. Just tell us a little bit about how you got your start.
Actually, I got started in Alberta in the bushes. My family was into quarter horses and Western pleasure and cutting horses, and I was pretty small, and I'd won some futurities and some cutting events, and some people seen me and then said, "Man, you're really small. You ever think about becoming a jockey?" And I said, "Yeah, you know, I did, but I had no family involved, so I had no idea how to get on the racetrack or even get introduced to it." And they said, "Well, why don't you come to my farm? We have some thoroughbreds and old quarter horses that we run on little B tracks in Alberta." I said, "Well, that'd be great." So I ended up going to their farm, and I got on my first thoroughbred at their farm. He ran off with me for like 2.5 miles on a little training track, and you know, guys always stop when you pull on one day, they're supposed to slow down, and these thoroughbreds, when you pull on them, they go faster. I was like, this is crazy. So that was my introduction to our thoroughbreds, and from there it just multiplied. I rode the bushes for 4 months, and I graduated, and people asked me what I was going to do. I said, well, I'm looking at it's going to be minus 30 here in Alberta, and these guys are going to Florida for the winter time. That's a pretty good idea. So I went to Florida for the winter, and I got a work visa. The guy that owned the farm worked for the Canadian government, so he got my work permit right away. And from there, I just kept going. You know, I stayed in the States since '87, and I've been all over from Florida to California to New York to Cleveland to Woodbine.
You rode your first one down in Blackbirds, didn't you?
Actually, my first one was Grand Prairie.
Oh, way up north.
Yeah. Grand Prairie with TP3 from Grand Prairie. McAnally and I started together. Same year, it was pretty well.
You know how it is?
Jimmy or Peter?
Jimmy.
Jimmy Mackley, he's from out there too. That's where he got his start. His whole family's up in the Grand Prairie area.
Peter was there at the time. He was riding. He come from Assiniboia Downs. That's a little while ago.
There's actually been a lot of really talented jockeys that come out of Alberta over the years. They've gotten their starts out there. Red Polar started out there. Tom McBeth. What's the guy that I don't remember his name? He was the one that rode Seabiscuit. No. He rode him in the match race. George Wolf. Yeah, he's from Johnny Longden. Johnny Longden. Yeah. From Tabor. Yeah. Shoemaker.
Actually, I got to ride Shoemaker's last race.
Yeah. I can now hand it in.
Santa Anita, and everybody, all the crowd come, and there was 60,000 people with shoes, you know, signed goodbye shoe, and it's in a stake race, and every trainer is telling us, don't let this horse run. Everybody wants to see Shoe win his last race, so everybody's holding the whole time. We're at the 8th hole, he's still length in front. We couldn't get him home. And I got lucky enough to ride one for Charlie Whittingham that day, and he says, Gary, I don't want you within 15. Just bury this horse, you'll run him back, don't worry, right? Big guy, everybody was just holding him. He just beat a length and a half. We couldn't get him home, but it was a fun time.
Run 4.
Yeah, he did. Patrick Grandpa.
I was just going to say, I didn't remember his name, Patrick Grandpa.
Julio Canani trained the horse.
Then they put him to stud, he had one horse.
I didn't.
Yeah, he went to stud, had one horse in Alberta.
Wow.
Yeah, Florida. Couldn't outrun me.
Patrick was on grass.
Yeah, this is only claim to fame. Shoemaker's last horse.
What are some of the most memorable moments you've had over the years that just really stick out?
Obviously, winning the plate, Dance for the Dawn. She was a special filly. I win the Oaks on her, and we come back and win the plate. And it was, you know, my biggest race of my career, and phenomenal. Riding the Derby in '98, and there's nothing bigger than that day. That was probably the most sports-wise, the largest day I've ever been in. And I mean, if you don't cry in post-parade, you're not human. It's just breathtaking to be there that day, and they treat you like a royalty, and it's an honor to be there. And just seeing the size of the crowd, and you really don't get an idea, because when you come out of from under the grandstand, you make a right turn, and you see about a quarter of the grandstand, and it just looks like dots. There's just people lined everywhere. Outside on the rail, they're about 9 deep, and they're all singing My Old Kentucky Home. And you know, the hair on your arm standing up, you got a lump in your throat, trying not to cry or anything. And then you turn back and you see the whole grandstand, and you're like, oh boy. like Bailey, and then Mike Smith come to me and says, Gary, you'll cry in both parades. I said, what? He goes, you will cry. I said, oh yeah, sure I will. Sure enough, you're like a tear wire. Then you go about your business. But I mean, it was a fun day. It was just probably the greatest day I've ever had. Not winning a race, just being there. Would love to make it back, but I haven't yet. But I'm grateful I made it back just to race it. I rode a horse called Cholito for Grand Motion. I'd win the Flamingo on him at Hialeah by 17 lengths. And he actually wasn't going to run him. He came off sick, but it was their homebred, and they bred and raised him, and he had a temperature for a couple days, but the morning of the race it was normal, and he says, you know what, we're going to take a shot. If he doesn't show up, don't abuse him, take care of him. I laid third the whole way till about the 3/8 hole, and he started backing up, and usually he just kept on going, and he wasn't there, and I think I ran 10th. But it was just, this day was spectacular.
How many Breeder Cup races have you run?
And who won that race? Stafford winning with Kent was normal.
Charismatic.
No.
Silver Charm?
No. It was one of Mike David's horses.
Real quiet.
That's it.
You said too many to think of.
Yeah.
How many Breeders' Cups have you rode in?
I've only rode in 2. I mean, one was an undercard, and then Lee Court was my first real Breeders' Cup race.
That was last year, right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
She ran well in there, right?
You know, honest to God, I mean, I wish the real Lee could have shown up that day. I mean, we had some trouble getting her there. Bar none, in my career, the most versatile horse I've ever rode in my life. I don't know how good she really was. I wouldn't have been scared to run her against Wise Dan going a mile on the turf. Yeah. She was that special. We were, when she won the race at Keeneland that got her to the Breeders' Cup,
yeah, that was fantastic.
it was just that she was that good, and her and I kind of got along like peaches and cream. She was very difficult filly to get along with in the morning and in the afternoon, and she's kind of one of those girls, if you rubbed the wrong way, you were going to lose. And her and I just connected from the get-go. And well, I wasn't gonna go there. I wasn't gonna go there.
We said it.
Yeah.
She's coming back to race, is she not?
They're trying to get her back. I mean, unfortunately, going to the Breeders' Cup, they had to fly her from Kentucky, and she's a little bit of a very temperamental and tough cookie. And she wasn't have no part of that plane.
I believe you.
She got up there in the box stall, and as soon as they started closing her in tight quarters, she threw a pretty big fit. They took her down, they tranked her, they brought her back up the ramp. Going up the ramp, she had no problem. But as soon as they started closing her in that little box stall, she freaked out again. They said, listen, she does this up in there, we'll have to kill her. They said, no, well then we'll van her. So they arranged to van her. She's like 30 hours on a van from Kentucky to California. And when she got there, her feet literally were on fire.
I remember Gail Cox had said they were having a bunch of troubles with quite a few horses down there. There was 3 horses, I think, altogether that were supposed to fly out of there that couldn't fly that year at the Breeders' Cup, and they had one that they couldn't get.
One of them was Cassie's.
One of them was Cassie's. They had one coming over from overseas. They just started to take off, and he threw her back in the plane, and they had to stop the flight and take them off because the same thing. They never did get to come over.
No, I mean it was. I mean she only got beat 5 1/4 lengths, and I knew in post-parade it wasn't the same Lee. I mean, she was a little more agitated. She wasn't her usual self, and I felt horrible. I mean, I was so proud of her and what we'd accomplished, and I wanted to show the world what she really was. And unfortunately, we didn't get to. And they sold her, and she's back in training. She's at Arlington now. I don't know if Mike Stidham has her or Al Stahl has her. One of those guys has her. They switched hands a few times.
Paul Redden bought her, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, two new guys bought her.
Oh, 2 new guys did?
Well, they're in the oil exactly. But they actually, Mike Stidham called me about her when he first got her and said, you know, Gary, she's training on eggshells, she can't get her feet right. I said, that's her problem. And she kind of went away for a while, and then I seen her on the work tap, she's on my virtual station. And she worked a minute at Arlington.
Hopefully she comes back good then.
Yeah, I mean.
So when you're here, you think about, you're talking about, you know, riding the Derby, winning the plate, riding the Breeders' Cup and all that. When you first started, when you rode your first race in Grand Prairie, you were getting run off on your first time ever on a horse, did you ever sit and think about that? Like, wow, look at where I've come from to how lucky I've gotten to be here, considering how many good riders never really got the chance. I mean, there's a lot of good riders that I met in Alberta that never had the chance.
You know, I've been very fortunate in my career, and I've probably done a lot of things right. I got in with the right people at the right time. Made the right choices. I went to probably the best move I ever made. I was in Northern California, and Russell Mays was just dominating. I just lost the bugs. I come from New York, and a couple guys see me riding. They say, you know, you're a really good rider. You just need to go somewhere you can ride more and fine-tune your riding skills. You're not riding enough races per day to really dial in your craft. And his name was Clinton Roberts. He's an ex-rider himself, a good horseman. And I said, you know, where do you think I should go? He said, why don't you come with me to Long Acres? I have 30 head, and my son-in-law has 30 head. You can ride first call for us, and you'll ride a lot of horses, and you'll really tune yourself in. I said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. I was at the time I was 20. Let's go in there. I went up there, and the rest was history. I was lead rider the first year. I went 196 races. The second year, I went 198. The third year, I shattered Gary Stevens' record. I went 240.